This second review film picks up where the first one left off, with this second floor with that same kind of plan that already exists, more or less. And so we did think about a half bath up here instead of a full bath and see how that impacts things. And I did this one first just to get something together here. See your dimensions, what we're working with here. This closet is only about 4.5 feet long, but I'm not going to talk about a lot of these at length. We need that 21 inches in front of the toilet, so I switched that back like this to keep these dimensions the same, this 11.3 and 12.2, and then that is your kind of minimum half bath. That's pretty narrow, but that gets the job done, and you could have a skylight in here even for a half bath. And then if you want to try to put a regular size vanity in there, regular standard vanity, it's probably not going to work even at this width. It just sticks out there so clunky. So I show a pedestal lab. It's a larger one than what I was showing in the other half bath at the beginning, or the other bath at the beginning. So now I scrap this little closet in the hall and get this closet here all the way up to, it's over 7 feet long, and probably, then I started looking at this. For one thing, I changed those doors to a triple sliding door, where you're going to be able to access, well, if all those things slide, you'd be able to access 64 inches at a time or so. And I have this cabinet that's over the toilet backing up to the back side of that drywall. That drywall gets glued to the back of that cabinet or whatever. But you can see this 14 inches isn't enough in front of that toilet. So that is what it's going to take to make that big enough to have it set up like this, which brings this room down to 10'9". And I like this closet in bedroom 1, and the closet in bedroom 2 is, that's 2'10" deep, so they have an extra 10 inches in depth here. And I'm still showing expansion of that and opening into that stairwell, taking advantage of that. I don't really like this door, as I said before, overlapping like this, but I think this is going to work out better. This person needs a switch when they come out to turn on a light for this hallway, and that wasn't going to give it to them. So I went over to this side. Now, this is the bare minimum here. Remember, we need 21 inches in front of the toilet. And this is with the toilet pulled forward 4 inches, and then that cabinet backed up to the drywall in bedroom 2. And then if you want to go to straight vanities, maybe I widened it just a little bit. Nope. We were able to get 18-inch deep vanities all the way across there at those dimensions. And that's skylight. If you did put a skylight, which the roof pitch is such that it could be done, this is the largest one, a CO8. This is to fit between rafters on 24 inches on center. And I don't know whether your existing rafters would work out that way, but that is the largest one once it frames down to here. And also, I don't think, if you didn't ask landmarks, you could just put a treated buck, cut that brick out, put a treated buck in there, and put a window in that back instead, or in addition to. That's a lot of light. The skylight itself is a lot of light, but even any sort of these interior baths it's just, you lose value that way. So one way or another, you need to get some natural light in there if it's possible at all. And then if we back that up another 1 inch, this door can go anywhere on bedroom 1, I guess, anywhere along there. I moved it over there and made it a pocket door. I wanted to make a quick check though if that door is located there, whether you're going to be able to bring a mattress through that door. And there's a 14-inch high mattress, and there's a 14-inch by 80, and it will go through. So that wasn't really an issue. But returning to this, we still have these 18-inch deep vanities here, even though we had 15-inch flanking ones and a 24-inch one in the center. So this was good vanity space as far as that went. Each bedroom had its own stack of drawers, and then we had this linen closet here. I have these open shelves here, but maybe because of maybe this just needs to become a deep linen cabinet like I talked about in the last film. And then I think when I got to D here, I really shrunk down bedroom 2 by a whole 8 inches, which allowed me to make these vanities, 21-inch deep vanities. And so that was, E would be about the last one of these half baths dimensions end up with, and D being, and I think D, you could change this to 10'5" and end up with 21-inch deep vanities here. Right, so that would be, D2, somewhere between D and E would be, this is around 10'5", 10'6", and we get 21-inch vanities in there. And then to complete this, to be thorough or not to be remiss, I really think it'd be nice to get a full bath up here, and not horse riding with that on the first floor, particularly with 17 risers, between the bedrooms and the first floor. So to me, it makes more sense to try to get a full bath in here, and these are going to be 2 or 3 attempts at that. This one here with that 10 foot was still showing these 21-inch deep vanities. That's a 10 foot, and this is a 12 foot too. Their closeting becomes, obviously that's what happens, is you lose that long, almost 8 foot closet to get this shower in here in this way in Plan 427E. And I'll just get so this person has a switch. When you go to F, start trying to get the closet a little larger in bedroom 1 on F by moving the shower out of the way for now, just going with a 36-inch vanity in here on this side of the room. And that allows us to put a 54-inch shower across the room. And we still have this 4-foot door in here, which isn't too bad. 4-foot double door. A big 54-inch by 34-inch deep shower. We still have the linen cabinet back here. Optional window, optional skylight. Now with this door over this far, isn't so bothersome to me. This becomes more of a hall, and this doesn't really have too much of a relationship with that end of that wall. And this, it just seemed like that was a little narrow for a full bath. So even though I didn't really want to take these below their whole numbers, I took those down for 12 foot into 10 foot, another inch. And you could either move that forward and have a regular standard type of, this cabinet could be moved forward instead of having to frame an opening through that wall, which isn't this big a deal at all, and back that up to drywall. It could be just made standard like this. And then that's a 12-inch deep installed standard. There's a 15-inch deep, and we still have code required clearance out here, and even at 18 inches deep. And this 2 foot that's a lot. This whole bath is more than 5 feet, so that's plenty, even with this 18-inch deep linen storage here. So I like F. They suffer for closets, and I did a couple random attempts at closets here. I think there's a walkthrough now. Yeah, and then I did this random attempts at closets, and I just can't recommend it. I can almost recommend that more than I can this sort of situation here. This gets a lot of hang space. It's 4'9" and 4'9", so 8, 9.5, 10.5, 11 feet of hang space in those two closets, but it would have to be done like that. I mean, this one's, you lose that extra 2.5 feet, and this just, to me, just isn't working. And I don't know if it works better with this angling back, but then that door, you can't even open all the way. I don't think that one works G at all. So I'd rather see H if closeting space was a real problem. I call that H1 because when I move it a little bit and lose 6 inches of that hang space, go to H2, pick up an extra 6 inches on our vanity space. That makes it, the bathroom becomes more balanced that way. So that would be the second recommendation, H2, if those extra closets are needed in bedroom 1. And now there is a walkthrough of this particular H2 plan, again in the event that closeting is a concern. And I think that's about the best I'm going to do up there right now. I mean, there's probably some other approaches, I'm sure, but I think that's the best I'm going to do for starting conversations or whatever. So this is where the first floor discussion begins. It does bounce up to the second floor for this or that, but it returns to this and covers a few more things at this floor. This next section then covers this a little bit on this first floor, really just this area here. Actually, it'll cover a few more considerations than just right here, but I'll run through this next section. So this would be all on the first floor, and that is the second floor over, and that's that clunky thing there. We do need to get that drain from the toilet down, drain from the shower, etc. down there, and so I think probably that chase stays there, and this concerns me a little bit. I wish this was a little bit more, but it's not a big deal yet. And now I chose to be working with this first floor plan. I chose this, I think it's F. Yeah, that was that one before I made that closet smaller and this a little wider. And the fact of the matter is, this hall only needs to be 3, so you could pull this 3 inches, and then you're into a 39-inch vanity, just leaving that alone. Actually, you pull this 3, and this comes 3, and that becomes 39 wide alcove. So that's probably what, if I reverted this plan, if we end up back at this plan, and I don't know why it's not showing, I'll have to see what plan this was exactly. Okay, it was plan F, and now that I've returned to this, I think we should, for no longer than this hall is, I think we should just pick up that 3 inches there, and pick up that 3 inches at the alcove there, and 3 inches at the vanity here. This becomes a 39-inch vanity space without changing that, if that closet, is acceptable. So that was F, so I would say doing that, making that, would be plan F2 or plan G, since plan G was untenable. But returning to that first floor, and wherever else it comes in order to get mechanical space on this side of the building, this is one of our pathways here, right behind the stairs. You can see how that works. If we take that, that's copied straight down there. So that would have to move over at least that far down at this level. And when it goes up to that level, though, there'll be space for mechanicals if they wanted to run another duct over here, whether a return air or whatever. And there'll be space to run multiple mechanicals. Right now I'm showing this as a 12 by whatever this stairwell width is 34. So that mechanical space there and here, and then down here we're not going to have, this shapes up really nice here where we have these mechanical spaces because nothing's going to be done there really, and we need this kind of arrangement. And then this ceiling this becomes a lower soffit here, so we can travel back and forth as well in this area here if we want. We're not wanting to do that really here. We're trying to preserve this. But then if crown mold is, and one question it should be settled at some point, is whether that goes away there, and for that matter, whether that goes away. This one I think could stay, but this one, particularly with this path coming here, I think should go. So there's these same mechanical pieces up here, and that's where they come up to the second floor, which this is nicely situated here, and that goes all the way down to the basement below this. And that's the second one, and hopefully that second one has to feed the bedroom at this end and the bathroom, or maybe this one feeds both of those. I mean, I suppose if a person really needed to, you actually could have a third one here if that was critical. But returning to this one here, so that's the three possibilities. Now we get this plan name in here. 501A is when I begin to work with the first floor. And that was the first thing I did. I haven't shown any views of this, but I think this would look, I think we could make this look good and have it really work for us. This is a cut through that stairs down through that stairwell here, including that mechanical space eventually. And our stairs are getting extended here. I'm assuming this happens. I really like the sculptural look coming down through here. And maybe even this one is, trimmed as well, made a little deeper and trimmed. So we have that same kind of angle going on. Because that's so easy. So now the other thing, if we put the full bath upstairs, the door to this bathroom does not need to be 28 inches. Right now it's 32 inches existing, and that 32-inch door, maybe that's used somewhere upstairs, possibly on the bedroom 1 would be a possibility for that to be used, if all of those doors are going to match or whatever. But since if we go with a full bath upstairs, then this bathroom door only has to be 2 foot wide. So that's something to know, because we look through here, and now I'm showing this 2 foot wide door to the bathroom from underneath that. And it could go all the way over there, and really can go a little further than that. I don't remember if I have to take it. But there's that ductwork. So when I do that, when I move it over that far, I have 1'6" from the edge of the casing to here, which means I have about 2 foot to the edge of the door. And that is for like furnishings considerations. So when we put a toilet in here, because I see no reason to move that anywhere other than right where it is. When we put a toilet in here, just randomly placed for a moment, you have to have this space 21 inches in front of it and 80 inches tall. And so if we do this, we can move that toilet all the way back to there. And we can actually move the door itself, I mentioned this, and go another 3 or 4 inches that way as well. And above this, now here, that's a 24-inch door. Now I widen it out to the 28-inch door, because we are going to have a platform above here that's going to be carrying the rest of our stair load, and that's going to be, fastened to that existing that existing wall and the brick wall before this. So when I move that door over like that, we have 21 inches up to the edge, so I must have moved it 3 inches. And if we want a 2'4" door there, it's a little bit more in scale. This is still 12 inches wide here, 12 by 34 or whatever that space is. And I have just a typical 2-inch wall here. That might have to be a little bit thicker. And we start thinking about getting a sink. Now we've put the toilet as far back as we can under the stairs, and these are a variety of sinks, small sinks that can go in there. And this first one, this is that little pedestal lab that I was showing in the plans of 2 days ago, with the full bath over to the south. But these are a variety of actual real life sinks that are available, and if you weren't concerned about it being centered completely up here, any of these will work, or almost all of these will work. This is a corner, this is called a porch or something or another, this porch or corner lav, and with a single handle faucet right in the corner, and I have the door opening right back against the toilet. Now remember, a person's got to navigate around this, whatever's happening here, to close that door. It could, I think I might actually show that as a pocket door eventually. But here is the toilet, and that is that clearance in front of the toilet, and the red lines, and so the maximum kind of radius that you can have for a corner sink is going to be about 19 inches. So that one's shown as 19 by 19 corner sink, which I think would be fine. Half the people won't even know a toilet is in there if that swing door is like that. That's what I like about the swing door, and possibly a smaller sink and the smaller swing door. I lived in a place for 30-some years that had a 2-foot door to the bathroom. There was a full bath, and it was not a problem. Because if you go up to a 2, 4, 6, 8, you almost have to go to a pocket door. So I don't know how you get around that thing. And if you go with this corner lab, actually, you probably will have to build this wall out of 2x4s to support that thing. So this becomes 10 inches instead of 12, that space available. And so that's max. We're jammed in there, but I just can't get you around the door unless you go to a pocket door, which they have automatic closers on these pocket doors as well. And so maybe that's the solution, and those are not expensive. And that would be the solution if you were going to go to this pocket door and this sink like this. And so that is all I did for this so far on this first floor. But my thoughts remain of whether that goes. I'd like to just leave this doorway where it is right now. But I'm going to be coming through there and taking a look at what is happening here and up here pretty quickly here, probably in the next 2 or 3 days. So, but that's the beginning of the first floor. I mean, we're not even touching here, so all we have to do is design this part back here. And if that goes away, I mean, I really like this space here. I know we have to get the washer dryer. That's going to be incorporated back here in the kitchen. In my mind, this is the big room. With all that stuff going on the second floor, we're adding, we go to these bathroom modes, any of them. You go to any of this new bathroom loading. I'm not too worried about bedroom 1's floor system, but without a doubt, we'll have to improve this floor system that's over that middle room, which means over the other one as well, obviously. And I think that's almost required if you're going to do that second floor. The rest, I'm really looking forward to shaping this up. It's not going to be a problem. But hopefully one of these baths on that second floor is now getting closer. That's all for now. Thanks very much. I'll be in touch.